Well, good morning everybody. Liz here again. Hi. We're going to do some bread making. Lots of people have shortage of bread at the moment with the lockdown. So I am going to show you my very, very simple, very natural bread recipe. So to start with, I have a cup of lukewarm water. This is tepid water. So it must be basically, tepid water is, so you can put your hand in it, it just feels just nice and warm, okay? That's what you need to activate the yeast. 1 teaspoon of yeast, just dried yeast. You can use this yeast or bread maker's yeast, and get your hand in there and mix that around. That's going to dissolve the yeast. Okay, then we add a teaspoon of sugar. That activates the yeast. So yeast is, think of it as a sleeping some substance, and you feed it and wake it up with your sugar. Okay, splish your hand around in there. See how it's all colouring already? Get that going, and what that's going to do is bubble up. Okay, so while that's sitting there resting, I have got measured out a teaspoon of salt. Again, I use the pink salt, and don't know if you noticed, but again I use the raw caster sugar. It's the finer raw sugar, raw caster sugar. In my little container here, I have my flour. So I'm just going to move that bottle out of the way. So I have my flour. What I do with my bread is I do a mix. You can do it just with normal strong flour, but I like to use a mix of a 40-60 mix of strong flour and 00 flour or spelt flour. So this is where too you can get your mixing with your whole meal or your whole grain flours, adding in your bread mixes. So mixing it up a bit, it makes it last longer if you mix it a bit with the strong flour or spelt flour and normal flour. So I use wholemeal flour and spelt flour as a mix. And in this case I'm just doing a white bread because I want to show you some versatility of this recipe with just some basic white bread. Okay, so that is starting to bubble up. Get the yeast going. You can see it's starting to bubble away there. So then what we're going to do is add our salt, add 2 cups of normal flour, and 1 cup of 00 flour. Okay, and get your hand in there, or if you're using it in a mixer, get your mixing bowl going. I love making bread. It's just so good. I just love the feel of. This is the ultimate playing with food. This is a great thing to do with the kids. Get them making bread. Get them appreciating what bread actually is, and really get the feel of it. Now, bread dough, of course, is completely opposite to scone dough. You can really, the more you handle it, the better. Okay, so what I've got there is a nice wet dough. Okay, I want it a bit drier than that because that's too wet. So it's really nice to get it mixed up with a nice wetness. I'm going to add another cup of, I'm going to mix it through with the flour. So I've literally dragged it through the 2 flours, mixed it up a bit. I make up a mixture, normally a bread mix with the 2 flours combined in a container and have it ready to go. It's just a lot easier. The spelt or 00 flour is just a lot finer flour, a lot finer grain. It makes it a lot lighter. It's something I learnt to use when I was living in Europe. And it helps get that nice crispy crust on your bread. Okay, so what I've done here is I have brought this together. It's a nice drier dough. So I'm still blending this. What I'm going to do is tip that out on the bench for you so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to knead that dough. Okay, a bit of flour on the bench should help. Let's do it on the board, it'll be less messy. Okay. And what you want to do is just bring that together, bring that dough together. And if I move that out of the way, you'll be able to see what I'm doing a bit better, won't you? Okay, so bringing it together. So you've still got that nice stickiness. So what you're doing here, just by kneading your dough, is you're activating your gluten. Now, again, I use gluten-free flour a lot. gluten-free spelt if you can get it. Gluten-free Edmonds flour I find is fantastic for getting it all nicely together as close as possible to a normal flour. This is the gluten-free flour mix that I use. Get some pressure in there, get it kneading, get it over. You don't want to make it too dry, you still want to have a bit of moistness in there. There's all sorts of kneading techniques, you know, people say, oh, this is the correct way to do it, you must bring it towards you and then roll it. Other people say, no, you must bring it towards you and punch it. Other people say, no, you fold it like this. That's the way to do it. You know what? What you're doing is activating the yeast, activating the gluten. So yeast has been activated, you're activating the gluten and you are getting that bread. The whole point of kneading is to get that bread activated. So however you knead it, you know, if I'm pissed off with my husband, I just really give it good damn kneading. If I'm being a bit calmer, I just kind of, you know, more of a chill time with it and knead it and pull it in and roll it over. It doesn't really matter. You know, people will tell you there's this technique or that technique. The idea is you want to give it a good 5 minutes of kneading time. See how that's sticking to me again now, so I'm just going to add a little bit of flour there just so it's not sticking. Don't you just love playing with food? God, I know I do. So, here we go, bringing it in. And it's a really, really nice thing to do at the end of the day. Just to, or even in the morning, it's a nice way to start the day too, just that quite therapeutic and calming, you know, pulling it away, bringing it in, pulling it away, bringing it in, or just simply getting it so it's at a good level. Do this on a bench. If you're lucky enough to have a stone bench or a stainless steel bench, it's the best for bread making because it's a cool surface. And for any doughs, especially pastry doughs and things, that is the best option, definitely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is oil my bowl. Just going back into the same bowl I had it in before. Just going to tip out some of that flour. Okay, so waste not, want not. I create more dishes, so being quite generous with that olive oil that I'm putting in there. And get my dough, I'm going to roll it around. I'm actually coating it a little bit with the olive oil. Okay, you can add olive oil to your bread dough as well. Now, sitting that there, what we've got there is a beautiful bread dough that's just starting to really get nice and nicely weighted. Look at that, it's just pulling apart. See, that's just pulling apart. There we go. I'm shaping that a little bit into a ball in the bowl, rolled it around with the olive oil. That's going to sit in there, and we're going to rest that for probably a good 45 minutes to an hour. If you're lucky enough to have a steam oven, then you put it in your steam oven for 20 minutes to prove at 40 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to try and just do this in a normal oven at 40 degrees and see what happens. Okay, we'll see you soon after the proving. Okay, here we go again. So we have got our bread that has been sitting at 35-40 degrees for about 30 minutes. Again, if you've got more modern oven, you're going to be able to do that at 35 degrees, more controlled temperature, and under a dough proving function. So this is just flouring the board, because what I've got here, doing it this way, I've got quite a wet dough, which is fine. So we just pull that out onto the board, onto the bench rather. Get rid of it over there. Magic pile of dishes in the corner. Get our dough, just add a little bit of flour to that. Okay, that is beautifully moist dough. So this is not called knocking it back. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just reshape my dough. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful dough. So we're just going to reshape that and turn that into several different little loaves of bread, or bread rolls. So I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I'm just going to cut some off. I have got a proper cutter somewhere. Not sure where, but anyway, a knife will do, because we're doing this the domestic way. Okay, 4 even sizes. Again, this is just what I'm doing to show you. So I've got a bread roll here. Okay, so I want to make a stuffed roll. Okay, so I'm going to roll it. It's better if you've got, easier if you've got bigger hands. This is going to make nice roll. Get it tight, roll it in tight, shaping it to what you want. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I'm going to open it up a bit, and I'm going to fill it. So I'm going to fill that with, I've got some onion jam here. I will give you my recipe for onion jam at some point. So I've got onion jam, squish that down, and I have got some Parmesan cheese. Squish that down, a little bit of extra salt, a little bit of black pepper, and I'm going to fold it up, close it, pinch it, and roll it. That is that. Okay, nice little bread roll. We're going to egg wash that shortly. Put that on the tray, ready to go. Then I have got 3 even pieces here. Now I'm going to have a bit of fun. This is what you can do with bread. This recipe is so versatile. You can add extra olive oil to it and turn it into your pizza dough. You can do this with it, with where I'm doing now. Not quite an even piece there. It's beautiful dough to work with this recipe. It really, really is. And I think it is, the trick is that spelt flour or double O flour. So right, what I'm going to do, nice flat pieces, evenly. I'm going to attach them, okay, squish them down, marry them up, okay. Then I've got 3 little branches here. This is great for the family to share. Okay, so I've got some softened butter. That's going to be my middle one. Make it easy, you can melt the butter. I'm going to show you several different bread recipes over the next couple of weeks, just to give you a bit of variety. Okay, lots of butter. I'm a butter freak, garlic freak, okay, big flavours, you know me now. This is roasted garlic. Again, I'll show you how to do that one if you like. I just roast the garlic whole. I'm doing a roast. I did this the other day when I did a pork belly. Lots and lots of garlic, look at that. Oh, yeah, baby. Get those flavours blended in. Spread it along. Bit of extra salt. Salted garlic butter. Yum. Okay. Next one is a bit of pesto. Yeah, why not? Let's have some fun with this one. You can use pesto or you can just use cheese or anything you like. Okay. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Next one, I'm going to do herby. Bit of herbs, sprinkle that down there. Bit of salt. It's a very Italian one, this one. Bit of black pepper. Oops, you can't quite see what I'm doing there, can you? There we go. herbs, black pepper, bit of Parmesan cheese. And you're wondering, what the heck is she doing? Trust me, this is me playing with food. Love it, love it, love it. So, the magic happens now. This is what's going on. So, with this, we are going to roll like so, and pinch. Roll and pinch. Okay, bring together and pinch, and roll it over. Okay. Same with this one. This is your garlic butter, garlic bread. And quite often I'll make like 2 of these will be garlic bread and 1 will be pesto or something like that. Pesto and cheese perhaps. Joining that together, again rolling it over. So it's joint, nice even roll. Okay, and then the next one, you are going to roll it over, gathering it together from the top, rolling and pinching. Putting ingredients back in there if it escapes, nice and easy. Roll and pinch. Roll and pinch. There we go, making a nice even roll. Don't be frightened to handle it, it's bread dough. It likes to be handled. Okay, so making sure that you're keeping it very even and smooth and joining it together. That's my husband interrupting. Knows I'm filming. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, then we're going to get our egg wash, which I should have actually pre-prepared, which I haven't. So, nice, simple little egg wash. Another good mixture actually to do with this too, as I quite often do, is a bit of just a bit of tomato paste. So I've got a nice tomato mix there. I'm going to shove that one in the top part. Look at that. Shove that in there. Bit of cheese on there. And I sometimes make a whole roll with that one alone. Okay. So what we're going to do now is roll it. Okay, so suddenly you've got 4 different flavours there, but you can make it not so much for the flavours, you know, make it a bit easier on yourself so don't get quite so much. Alright, I am going to do a very quick simple egg wash. Okay, that's ready. Quick egg wash, nice and simple. Got a brush. You can do an egg wash or a milk wash realistically because it's bread, it's forgiving. But I'm doing an egg wash here because I want this to stick together. And you can add sesame seeds or anything you want to it. Oops. So here's the fun part. Plaiting. How's your braiding? Flick it over. Flick it over. Flick it over, flick it over, flick it over. There we go, and join it at the end. How's that? So you've got all those different lovely flavours in there. Splash that around with that. We're going to join it over here. This one here, that's our onion jam one. Oops. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil onto the top of that one. And I haven't got some sesame seeds handy, I don't think. I'll put sesame seeds on that one otherwise. There we go. Beautiful. Now I'm going to cook that in the oven at 200 degrees and it should take about 20 minutes. Now the trick here is that you put this in the oven and then you, so it's sitting at 35-40 degrees temperature for dough proofing. Then you increase the temperature of your oven. so don't preheat your oven, because I found a trick that basically if you let the dough rise with the oven temperature, it's like a third proving, and it works really, really well. So I hope that has given you some inspiration. My mess on the board, and I will see you all soon. Bye. Okay, ready for the big reveal. Dun, 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 dun. Out of the oven comes our bread. Yum, yum, yum. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Look at my roll, how it's exploded out the top. That's all your cheese and onion jam. God, that looks good, doesn't it? Yum. Look at that. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Sticky, gooey onion jam on the bottom there. Listen to that. That's what I mean about that delicious, crusty yumminess. Here we go. I think it is time for the family to enjoy that. And I have a funny feeling that they might just do that. Take that out on a nice big plate. Set it on a board or a tray is always good as well. You want to take this off here and then show you, cut it open for you on the board so you can see what it looks like. Okay. This is the beauty of this. So this is like a tear apart loaf, or if you wanted to just cut into it, you can do that too. The bread knife is. Oh, it's really hot. Open the roll. You're supposed to rest bread, by the way, before you cut into it. Nice hot. That's that crispy crust at the bottom. Now you see this is what exactly why you're supposed to rest bread. Look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Yum, yum, yum. And this one. Ooh. So hot. Absolutely meant to rest bread first. Oh, there we go. So we don't pull apart. Look at that. Yum, 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 yum. God, this is going to be so delicious. I can't wait to get my mouth around that. Look at that. Oh, yum. Oh my god. It's so good. So this bread recipe makes fantastic plain bread rolls or anything you want. But supposed to rest bread, right? I'm so hungry right now after just cooking this. It's not going to get rested. It's just going to get even hot. Now, I will see you soon. That is my simple bread. I hope you enjoy it. Look at that. Yum, yum, yum. Cheesy, moist, delicious. I'll do you a fluffier bread roll next time.